All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about AMC, which is the new GameStop, obviously, because this thing has gotten squeezed. I don't know if it's gotten squoze or whatever Wall Street Bets wants to say, but AMC has been blowing up recently. So I want to talk about, is it possible for AMC to get to $100? And then I also want to talk about kind of the ripple effects that this has, which is also very interesting to look at, and kind of what happened last time in January with GameStop. One of the reasons AMC could be blowing up right now is because of a $230 million stock raise. They sold some shares to a hedge fund to basically go after what they see as valuable assets or aggressive acquisitions, which is obviously good for the stock. As of shooting this video, AMC is around $57. Now, watching it today, it could be 80 or it could be 40 within an hour, who knows. But the market cap right now at this current price is around $25.9 billion. In order to reach around $100 per share, you'd have to have a 73% increase from here. So taking this number and multiplying by that 25.92 would get you the market cap of around $45 billion in order to hit $100 per share, which is pretty big when you consider what other companies are around 45 billion, such as Constellation Brands, Spotify, Twitter, Walgreens. And the answer is yes. Yes, it is possible for it to hit $100 per share, but in order to do that, people have to be buying it $100 per share. Now, when it comes to AMC, GameStop, a lot of these companies and these squeezes, people are buying onto these stocks, not attached to the company itself. Now, that is okay if you understand that, but this is mostly a message just for newer investors that realistically, is AMC worth $45 billion? No. Because if we look at the past financials really quick here, we'll see that it's way worse off now than it was years ago, around, like $30 per share. The interesting part is AMC themselves thinks that the valuation is crazy because of the statement that they released. AMC came out and admitted that its current market cap may not reflect its true valuation. So they're basically saying, listen, the stock is probably overvalued and anyone buying the stock could incur some major losses, but hey, let's raise some capital anyway. If you look at the previous years and where AMC was trading, around $26, $27 in 2017. But you have to remember also that during this period, there's actually probably less outstanding shares. So the valuation was even lower for 2017 versus $27 at the current price because of them offering shares for sale. And yep, if you look at 2016 or the end of 2016, beginning of 2017, they had less outstanding shares than they currently do now. So that price at the time, their market cap was actually even lower versus now. And if you look at some other metrics, for instance, the long-term debt has gone from, $2 billion all the way to $5.5 billion. And then of course revenues have gotten hammered, but that's, partly due to COVID. So this will probably bounce back a little bit, but we're talking about a major comeback with huge debt, basically terrible financials. And I mean, you guys get it at this point. The fundamental standpoint on AMC is not that great. And not to mention they have negative free cash flow right now due to COVID. And then even in the previous years, they generated very little free cash flow or still negative, even when there weren't hard times. Obviously, from a fundamental standpoint, I wouldn't touch AMC with a 10-foot pole, but we're talking about, can it get to 100? Can it get to 200? It really depends on whether or not people have this group mentality. And it's basically this whole thing where it's like, hey, I bought some of this, you better not sell. Hey, you better not sell. The next guy that buys better not sell. And the funny thing about it is there's this whole online community of everyone is going to hold and we're all going to get rich. But at some point, people start to sell, and then the other person's like, holy crap, that person's selling, I need to sell. And then it's just this cascade of people selling. And ultimately, it's like this online community is kind of toxic with, it's like, hold, let's squeeze these companies. It's just an interesting dynamic that I feel like with the internet will just grow more and more. Another interesting dynamic on days like this is if you go to trending tickers on Yahoo Finance or StockTwits, you see other companies like BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond, all these other companies that are highly shorted as well. So for Bed Bath & Beyond, that means a 41% increase on no other news other than, hey, it's time to squeeze all of these companies and we can make some money. But I will admit, selfishly, it has helped my rocket position, which is definitely seeing the benefit today because RKT has been spiking along with the short squeeze. Hey, I'm not complaining too much. Now let's talk about these short sellers who are getting absolutely wrecked. And I don't feel bad for these short sellers at all. What is interesting though is I feel like AMC, GME has kind of changed the atmosphere or the dynamic for these hedge funds that are putting on massive shorts. Because in the past, it feels like there hasn't been like some massive online community that was able to all communicate and say, hey, let's hold on and really screw over these hedge funds, which they're all doing it in a wink wink kind of way, you know, Wall Street bets, stuff like that. So these short percentages on stocks are listed out there publicly, and now you have an online community that knows it can basically just keep on piling money into it and screw over the shorts eventually. And it's not a small amount that short sellers are losing. We're talking about $1.23 billion lost in AMC just last week. So I can't even imagine how much they lost just today. Something interesting to me as well is that on these days where AMC is blowing up, or GameStop, whatever the stock is, the overall market usually isn't doing so hot, and then there's usually a slight sell-off. So over the next week, kind of expect for the market to have a slight pullback. The same thing kind of happened in end of January. You know, everything was spiking, and then the market kind of freaked out over that excess speculation. But if history repeats itself, I expect a slight pullback after all these squeezes are done. And then one more fun thing that came out today, they launched Investor Connect, AMC Investor Connect, where basically you sign up for an email, you get a free large popcorn for the first movie that you go to, which is pretty nice. And honestly, that's a pretty smart move on the company. But it seems like a way for them to contact AMC stockholders, and once in a while, hey, you may get some free stuff, which is pretty awesome. So congrats for anyone that is in AMC or any stock that's being short squeezed. At this point, it's kind of up to you if you want to lock in some profits or just let it ride. But there will be some volatile times based on the options and kind of the expected volatility. So I expect some huge swings. Do we get to 100? Maybe. But thanks guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Main Street Wolf, where we do talk about stocks, investing, personal finance, anything to do with money. Thanks guys again for watching, and have a great day.